Sisters and brothers, on this, the fifth Sunday of Lent, we hear in the Scriptures about covenant, obedience, and service. Covenant, obedience, and service are highlighted during this liturgical season, for all three are integrated into the central idea of absolute surrender to the will and mercy of God. In the first reading from the prophet Isaiah, God declares he will create a new covenant between himself and his people. The people had failed to uphold their part of the covenant, that is, they strayed from God. His people failed to surrender to him and his will. Yet, God, in his infinite mercy and love, does not abandon the people, which was an option according to the terms of the covenant. Instead, God promises to place his covenant within them. I will place my law within them and write it upon their hearts. Writing it on their hearts means that God will transform their lives. The law will no longer be external but internal, not pushed from outside but compelled from within, like a second nature. What is written upon the heart is the law of love. Keeping the law of love makes us like God. That is, we resemble God by doing the works of God. When we engage in works of justice and mercy, we manifest God. If people do not know who God is, it is because we fail to make him known through our actions. Too often, our hearts have other things, some even sinful, written upon them. Such things can make it seem that God's law is too demanding and difficult, causing us to fear and draw back from putting it into practice. The passage from the letter to the Hebrews presents Jesus as the example to follow. Son though he was, he learned obedience from what he suffered. We too can learn from our sufferings and difficulties. Such moments can be opportunities to erase what we have written upon our hearts, allowing God to write on them his merciful law of love. In the passage from the Gospel of John, the Greeks who came to see Jesus can be understood to be inquiring as to why Jesus seems to be willingly headed toward a confrontation that will end in his death. Thus, Jesus' response about the grain of wheat dying and producing much fruit, Jesus states, "Yet what should I say? Father, save me from this hour? But it is for this purpose that I have come to this hour." The Father is heard making clear that his name is glorified when we do his will and keep his law. Each of us has moments when we are challenged in some way to keep the law of love. Whether those challenges are great or small, the response is the same. Be like the grain of wheat that dies. That is, let go of your will and do the will of your Father in heaven. In such moments, we glorify God, make him known, and draw others to encounter Jesus. As we approach the end of this solemn season, make your prayer the psalm, "A clean heart create for me, O God, a steadfast spirit renew within me." Prayer, fasting, and almsgiving make ready a heart upon which God will write his law of love.